All right. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host and co-producer, Dave.
Yes, sir.
And Earl will be joining us a little later, hopefully. And of course, you know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. Be sure to listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and wherever you get your favorite shows. Go over to that YouTube channel, guys, as well, and subscribe to the Hot Seed Podcast, where you can actually watch the show if you prefer not to listen. You can do both, and then you might find something new. The podcast is now listed on YouTube as well, the audio. So you will find that now. So that's a new thing that we've added as well. And of course, as always, if you don't feel like doing none of the shit that I just asked you to do, you can just visit us online at thehotseedpodcast.com, where not only you can watch, listen, and, enjoy the show, but also get 20% off of your merchandise when you become a supporter of the Hot Seed Podcast Plus. I think I said that right. I think I did. Go ahead, go get you guys some merch. As you can see, I'm wearing one of our, on this side, I guess, our THP golf polos. Golf season's still out there. I've been at the range quite a bit as of late. I feel really good. There has to be some golf put in before this weather really switches up. And again, get that exclusive merch and our new exclusive drop, our signature pullover hoodies that are available now for pre-order, and we'll be shipping at the end of the month. Hello, my friend.
Hello.
How you doing? How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. It's a busy week over this way. Trying to set back into things, but I first got to give a shout out before I forget to our mutual sis Michelle. Man, she blessed me and the missus with these tickets over at the Kennedy Center the other day. And the Kennedy Center, if you haven't been there, is just a marvelous place. Like the structure in general, just how it's put together. That orchestra, like I said, if you haven't seen a show, could set up behind anyone. And when I say anyone, and make the sound totally different. I don't care how many times you have seen whatever artist in concert. If you hear that person is going to be with that orchestra, go see it. It's a totally different experience. So we went there basically on the fly to go see like a musical history and tour the arts through the eyes of DC, basically.
Okay.
Going from early years, like Marvin Gaye years and things like that, and even further back than that, all the way up to now, and of course, touching on Go-Go. So they had, let me just try to think of everybody that was there. Well, first they had Anthony Anderson. He was the host. And
nice. Okay.
let me tell you something. There's one thing when you're funny as a comedian, and there's another thing when you're just funny. Anthony Anderson is funny. Everything you see on Blackish, that is just him. It's not a script. It's nothing like that. It is him. The way that he controlled the crowd and some of the people that were coming in late and how he fed off that energy. And I mean, like one woman had to tell one of the guys that was up there videotaping, and he had his lights on, the big bright light when you're recording from your camera. And she was like, turn that off or else he gonna get you. And he didn't get him, but another woman did the same thing. Got her. And I mean, made that joint into like a 5-minute tape. Every bit of it was hilarious. You bootlegging my show?
Oh,
so he was off the chain. The weird part about it was we went into the Kennedy Center, and when we're walking in, I basically have like a polo on with some pants, got my Maddens on, stuff like that.
Was it a
But I'm
THP?
seeing some. No. So sorry. So I see some people walking in. I mean, dressed to the T. And I was like, damn, I feel underdressed. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I feel underdressed up in here. But then we go sit down, and then I'm seeing some of the people that's coming in. I was like, did they come into the wrong
Sweats.
place? Like, what? Sweats would have been an upgrade.
Oh, damn.
Sweats would have been an upgrade. You
DC.
would have thought that they were going to the club. You get what I'm saying to you? Specifically the women. So just watching and passing. I'm like, okay, are they at the right show? Mind you, we didn't officially book this show, so I didn't know what to expect.
Got you.
Kenny Lattimore came out there.
Kenny.
Killed it, man. And you start forgetting that some of these artists are originally from DC.
Right.
So came up in there, killed it. I mean, went everything from old school R&B and different slow jams that he has all the way up to doing opera. Bruh. And I mean with the symphony behind him and was hitting every single key. So I'm still wondering what's going on because, like I said, the dress of some of the people.
Right.
They had Afro Blue up in there. If you don't know them, I forgot. I know they're all graduates of Howard University, and if Andrea had the real HU one more time out of Anthony Anderson's mouth, because he's originally from there too, graduate of there. And if you don't know, my wife graduated from Hampton, so she's like, I'm hearing this. HBCU love, but there's no violence. But of course, she came walking up in there, and she had a Hampton shirt on. So with all the HU going on. But I say all that because we're getting past all these things. And then finally it hit me. Genuine came out. Here go Genuine. And if you just think that these artists are just a flashback from our past, you would have thought Genuine just came out as a new artist when he came out on that stage. And when he came out, bro, yeah, it turned into an old school college gym floors, everything sweaty. Every white person in the place going, where the hell are we at? And I mean older white folk, bro. I mean the old, like
they know Pony. Goddammit.
Yeah, it was on. And of course he did all his hits, ended with Pony. And he rolls off the stage and then turns right into a go-go fest. By the second song, Go-Go, I looked at Drea. It's about that time. It's a Tuesday night. Like I'm still in school. Like, yeah.
Oh man.
We gotta go. It was a great show though. Just like I said, the touring through the history of the arts of DC and some of the sound and where some of that funk and things came from. Had a beatbox king there that I forgot his name, but he either won a Grammy or was up for a Grammy, like he big time. Okay. And had every sound of Dougie Fresh known to man going on with him. Like he controlled it. I gotta get his name. See if we can get him on the show actually. But yeah, it was just an awesome night. So once again, thank you, Michelle. I know a lot of things are going on with you right now. My blessings are with you and the fam, but definitely blessings on the tickets. How was your last couple days?
So I would say for anyone who's ever watched or have not watched the Kennedy Center Honors, it's always been great. I will say that I am absolutely jealous that you and the missus were able to attend this event, because if you remember, several months back, I had tickets to see who other than my idol, Common.
Oh yeah, Common. Yeah.
And then they canceled the show. I have still not gotten over that. The fact that they went through a musical history, and then I'm just glad you didn't say that Common showed up, because we would have ended this show. Right. I've been like, fuck you mean? I'm glad
they had spoken word artists and all that. Toby's gonna be there next week. He'll be there next Wednesday.
Toby from Roots or Toby?
Toby the hip hop artist.
Fair enough. All right. Okay, fair enough. You can probably bring a Fat with him and everybody, his wife, stuff like that.
You know he don't travel without them.
Absolutely. I like it, man. I absolutely like. I will say first and foremost, again, welcome everybody who's watching our podcast on YouTube and choosing to listen. I will say that again, we do not try to look at the numbers. We just do what we do because we enjoy doing this for the last 4 years now. This is 4-year anniversary.
Damn, is
To
it?
be honest, 4 years. The reminders have come up. I was like, damn, it's been 4 years. And again, we don't. At the beginning, I used to track numbers. We had that conversation, but I will say, last week, because I still look at stats because it's still other business things
Yeah,
that
it
we're
comes to
trying
your
to track.
emails anyway.
Yeah, and man, y'all showed out last. So one air horn for you guys. I look at the numbers and that it was a spike like over several days last week, and I'm like, yeah, because I and loved it because since we've gotten back out on the road and COVID went away, audio went down. A lot of the podcast numbers and stuff have went down because we're back on the move. So and then there's been even more podcasts released. At one point, we were sitting in the 10th percentile, according to listen notes of global podcasts, which are like over 2 million. So, which put us in that top 200,000 podcasts. That number now has grown to over 3 million podcasts and it continues to grow. We're still sitting up in that higher 10%. So that's dope for you guys. So I appreciate you. So much so that my old ass decided to pour me a vodka tonic, Grey Goose. I guess I am getting old. I guess is that a sign of me getting old? Because I remember at one point in our lives, we were different types of beers. We were drinking
Still
Hennessy,
on it. Still
stuff
on
like
it.
that.
Not really on it.
I'm about to say now Hennessy. It's we at one point we might be drinking Hypnotic, Everclear, stuff like that. The drink, and we was mixing shit. Now it's sophisticated stuff. You might get a good bourbon, good
Well, I was
whiskey.
about to ask you, is there something that you particularly drink now that you never thought about drinking when you were, let's say,
Tonic.
young? Okay.
Tonic,
Anything
like the
tonic.
whole
Okay.
whole tonic thing. Like, everybody knows me. I love my Terramana. Drink that with ice. But now it's like I'm just like a tonic. Like vodka tonic.
Mine is specifically gin.
Yeah, there you go. It might be
I
a gin tonic.
never really, besides having, and this was the hood joint, the gin and juice. Like, besides that, yeah, gin, nah. And really, the Bartesian, the machine I have, opened me up to that because they have all these drinks that mix with gin.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is how gin is supposed to be mixed. And it opened up my horizon. Then I started trying like the aviators and things like that. And I was, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I got a new love for it as far as gin, because before I used to never even touch it at all. Then I raised myself up to I had to be in a mood, that specific mood for gin.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, you got gin, Drake? Which ones you got? so gin is definitely mine.
That's where I'm feeling. It's not a midlife thing. This is like you feel it after a while. You just laid back. As far as this week, man, nothing. I've been in it. I've been in my bag as far as creating stuff for the pod and really like researching things, trying to make it even better than what we've done before. I appreciate everybody who you tuned in to football talk last week, and I hope you guys enjoyed everything that we unveiled. Especially a lot of people hit me up about the "What did you say" segment, which was hilarious to a lot of people. Thank you, Earl, again for giving us that laughter. But this week, man, has really been a transitional. Last 2 weeks been a transitional week as I'm transitioning out of my current professional career company I've been with now for like the last 5 years. And it's like bittersweet because it was something I've given my all to for the last 5 years, pre-COVID, during COVID, after COVID. And at the age of 44, a lot of people, that's a when you're making a change in your career, once you get to a certain age in life, it can be risky. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you still got some years because you're not solidified in what you're doing. You haven't aged out. It's something me and Earl talked about. So when you're going to make a change at the age I am right now, it's risky because no one's looking for a highly qualified person in their 40s. But based off of my resume, and I've always kept that one thing in the back of my head was like, hey, make sure you always keep that one, ace in a hole. That's one thing I was able to do to move on to this new iteration of my career. And I'm excited because it's a challenge. I'm always looking for challenges, for me.
Mhm.
Not looking for change per se, but also is a case of me getting to a point to where things structure. Like I need structure in life. I need things to be organized. We at an age now, like we don't like a lot of noise. I think you will agree with that. We don't like a lot of dysfunction. I want to go, come
I agree.
home, relax. That's it. When you got a lot of dysfunction and stuff around you, and you got to take that stuff home career wise, it can be draining. And you have to make a decision. Some people don't want to jump out the window. I parachuted out. So that's been the last 2 weeks. Speaking with people I work with for the last 5 years, and it's like, oh my God, why? What? They couldn't believe that change was. But being complacent, and even also something I learned, tenure is not always a good thing. When you have tenure for a long time, you can become very complacent people. You can become lazy. You can be, drive can go away. And,
Mhm.
that's one of those things. Um, so I look forward to the next chapter of this thing here. It's great. It's exciting still. I'm still going to be doing this stuff here, but it's a different phase of what I've been, this career that I even wouldn't have dreamed of post-military, which is bananas. So yeah, so this
Okay,
what
at least as long as it brings you less stress,
yeah,
all
I mean,
for it.
yep,
That's the stuff we look for now.
yeah, right.
Trying to
That's
bring
it,
down
man.
that stress. That's
Yes,
it.
that's all, man.
You talk
Yeah,
about money and things later. You're like, all right, so what you have me do?
right. That's it. That's all, man. Like we good. The money's good. It's fine. Like, bro, stress. I just want to watch football on Sundays and leave me be. Or not on Sundays. We're talking about Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Mhm.
and Sunday, and Mondays. Let's get right into it, man. Um, this was stressful to watch. Everybody who tuned in to the shenanigans that went down for this presidential debate, one that I didn't know until watching it that neither one of them had met each other. And by them, I mean former President Donald Trump and our current Vice President Kamala Harris. It's Kamala, not Kamala. It's Kamala. Um, and they debated up in Philadelphia to a closed set room, no audience or nothing like that. And real quick, and we just bounce off each other.
Mhm.
Uh, it was a shit show. It was a shit show, in my opinion. A lot of stuff out there was less debating and more like it seemed like a podcast to me, which is interesting because that's what we do. That's what it felt like to me. But what was your reaction to what we witnessed, man?
It was honestly what I expected, and I was happy to see. It was a masterclass of controlling the conversation. That's what it was.
Mm.
Honestly, VP Harris, she took him where she wanted him to go,
Mm-hmm.
and he went where he wasn't supposed to go. For
Absolutely.
all the things that I sit back and I say about Trump, I always tell people that he has a lot of power in the ears that he controls. And if he listened to the people, the brilliant minds that are around him, but he just decides not to listen to, I honestly think he easily would have won back to back easily. But if you draw that line and then you dare him to walk across it, that motherfucker takes a plane and goes across that joint. And you can't get back. And I swear, you couldn't pay me enough to be any type of advisor or any type of analyst that has to speak after he speaks about what he has said, because it's embarrassing for all the people that are getting on VP Harris. And I'm going to keep this unbiased because there's things about it, even on her side, that I sat back and I was like, wow, people ain't even seeing this. They ain't seeing this. But on his side specifically, there's so many hot points that you could come at her with.
Right.
And you didn't use any of them.
Not a one.
You didn't touch any of them. You can go at immigration so hard. The first question The very first question was about the state of the economy. And do you feel like the economy is in a better position now than it was 4 years ago underneath Trump? She sat back, started to answer the question, and she flipped it over to him.
Right.
And he just left it. Like left the whole thing. I mean, that was it for him.
Yeah.
The real turning point for me, and that's why I said she just knows exactly where the jabs need to come in at. And that's what Biden wasn't doing. And other people, even in the Republican Party, when they were running up against him the first time, they weren't doing. They were scared. You don't have to battle with them. With bullies, all you got to do is poke them a little bit.
Yeah.
And show their inferiority. That's it. Just poke them a little bit. And when she started going to the crowd size and his rallies and how his rallies are, and he ain't talking about nothing, fictitious figures and people leaving early because they're bored, he never returned back from that state of mind.
Never left it. Never.
Go ahead.
It was, and that's why that's when it turned to the shit show. And the thing that's gonna get lost in all this, because we can keep going talking about this. And you can see the quote for everybody who's watching on YouTube, or if you listen to audio, the caption of the Lion King, Lying, because he was spewing off a bunch of lies. It's always the best of this. We've had the best of the economy. We're in the best crowd size and stuff like that. But also, I learned early in life that with every lie, there's always an ounce of truth somewhere. One thing, we know what Donald Trump is. He's a person who enjoys the power. He enjoys the control of the crowd. He enjoys the intention.
Opportunist.
But he is. But one thing that we discussed, I want to say 2 years ago, that he did by running for president and then winning the presidency. While over the years, you may have had some politicians who gave you the little peek behind the curtain, we all agreed that his ass came in and ripped that whole goddamn curtain down to show you the ugly side of politics. So much so that it's a quote actually from Donald Trump when if you guys remember the infamous tax returns, stuff like that. And this is a quote from Donald Trump. He says that Trump tax returns once again show how proudly successful I have been and how I have been able to use depreciation and various other tax deductions as an incentive for creating thousands of jobs and magnificent structures and enterprises, Trump said in a statement. What does that mean? Everybody got caught up on the fact that he wouldn't divulge his tax statements, and if he did, he didn't pay that much taxes. But what you really forgot to think about was the fact that these tax codes are available for you as an everyday person.
Yeah.
Right. So while for him, if he had just stopped and said
you're
that,
hating on a man that just knows how to do it.
Right. So but he piled on so much shit on top of it, you couldn't hear the truth side of it, which you remember those, in those movies, right? When there's think of the head mobster or the head bad guy, the main antagonist. And instead of them themselves getting their hands dirty, they always hire like a mercenary or something like that to go do the job, to kill off whoever the protagonist is. I think I said that right. But what ends up happening is they realize that mercenary that they hired goes off the rails because they thought they can control him, and then or her, and then they realize, oh, we can't do nothing with this.
Yep.
Jason Statham is actually the prime example in The Beekeeper. That's Donald Trump. When the Republican Party came in back in I guess that was 2016, and they brought him in. They thought, hey, we can bring him in. He'll get the votes up for us. We can control.
Well, mind you, they didn't want to bring him in. They thought he would lose in the primaries for them.
Right. And then on top of that, so they started riding his coattails because they see how his crowd sizes at the time was crazy. Then they realized once he got in the power, I was like, oh, we can't control this mofo. And not because of the stuff he was saying, it's the stuff that he was exposing. But it went away so fast because he threw on top of that the stuff like we're gonna talk about it in a minute, the stuff that was really had nothing to do with politics. And so that's what make this whole debate a shit show, and I'm gonna bring Earl in right after that because they challenged Vice President Harris or asked a direct question about the economy, where he could have stayed on that and
Could have stayed right on it.
completely went off the rails and let her off the hook.
Yeah.
So let me bring Earl in, man, because this is going to be. I want to get his take in because I know he was watching it. Earl, what's up, brother?
What's going on?
All right, you know what we're talking about. That debate, man. Let's go.
I feel like I got COVID, but I took the test like 3 times and I didn't. It said negative. So, but hey guys, how are you?
Shoot.
So the debate. Now, they know I'm not a political guy. I already know how Donald Trump get down, so it wasn't really no shockers. I just kind of tuned in for him for the comedy. That was good TV. Kamala, I mean, she had some good responses. I mean, my only thing with both of them is that, and this is with politics, they don't never answer the question. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I want to see you answer the question. I don't want to don't give me. I want to. It sounds like real political. Like, talk to me, dog. Like, that's kind of why I like Barack, because it wasn't like, it felt like he was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I mean, I give her a performance a B. I mean, I think she did what she was supposed to do. I'm not gonna say she garnered any new votes. If anything, I think people just looking at Donald Trump a little more sideways because he said a lot of idiotic stuff.
Absolutely.
I think that the number one thing for me was he said you can potentially get abortions after the child is born. I said, nigga, that's murder. That's murder.
And we're not being to laugh, but
I'm just
real
like,
weird, man. Just
right, man. Like,
but it also made me say, and I'm just looking at him, Joe, looking at Congress, looking at the Supreme Court. They really have to put an age limit on these offices. Like, there's no way in the world that you should be able to die holding that seat. Like that's
right.
That's ridiculous. Like, and to be honest, it's like a lot of them are going past their prime. They from a different era. They haven't progressed. It's time to move on.
So I want to touch on a couple of things because the different topics are always going to come up in the debates and they're going to ask people's stance on them. So like I said, the debate opened up with the economy. That's where Trump should have let her sit at, because he didn't talk about, hey, what did you do in the last 3.5 years until his final statement. How do you let that go? Not that I'm rooting for this man, but God, I could have set up your platform better than what you coming out there with. How do you not nail her down with that? As far as the economy. So you got that. Immigration wise, right? Immigration wise, he can go at that, but instead he's talking about immigrants eating cats and dogs.
That was another
in Ohio. And then he contends with the person, the moderator, one of the moderators, about what's the truth. I'm like, are we seriously having this conversation right now? Where once again, go ahead.
I'm sorry, sorry to cut you off. Shout out to the moderators, because their snapback game and their checks was quick. Go ahead, though.
No. That's it right there. But that's another thing that if he would have stayed focused, that he could have went at her on. But the one thing that he messed himself up on months ago is he's the one that killed the immigration plan in the first place that was put in place by the Republicans and Democrats coming together. And he was the one to give the call up, basically saying, nah, kill that.
Right.
I want you to kill that right there, because that's going to look bad for me within this whole election process.
Right.
So if you're the one that has pushed that, this is already, you can't come back and talk about how I'm going to fix immigration when you just stopped something that was going to help it. Not fix it all the way, but was going to help it.
Right.
Next topic, healthcare. She's talking about certain things that she's doing towards helping healthcare, the Affordability Act, as far as the Obama plan that you hear about, Obamacare, and the things that they've done to upgrade it basically in a way. And he comes back in a way of, well, you know what? I just kept it in place because, you know, it was just a wise thing for me to do. It's still a horrible plan, but it's a wise thing for me to do. That was the decision I made for the benefit of the people. No, you tried to kill that bill the whole time.
Right.
The whole time you tried to kill that plan while you were in office. You just couldn't. So you had to pivot in that sense. So that was another thing that I'm like, how are you not prepared for these questions as if they're winging it? Like, I don't get it. You know they're going to talk about these things. You know it. Foreign affairs, you're over here talking about she's not ready for dealing with some of these dictators and leaders and things like that. Bro, Putin has you as a puppet.
A bitch.
You see what I'm saying? The people that want you to be in there is because they know that they can control you. That's not a leader. That's what people are scared of. And then when we got to the whole reproductive side of things, it was a wrap for him because that was probably her shining moment.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I feel bad for the people that have to try to advise him and prepare him, because you know he's just flowing off script. You know he's so far away from anything he was advised to do. I'm like, how are you not talking to her about how much her stance has pivoted throughout the years? Oh, I'm not for fracking. I'm going to kill that whole type of thing. Oh, now that you need Pennsylvania, now, we can allow a little bit of fracking because you need their votes. You see what I'm saying?
I don't even know what fracking is.
Well, fracking is the fact of basically drilling, digging down for your energy sources.
Okay.
So she said she was going to do away from that because we were talking about, you know, the green movement, the green projects and things like that. But you still got to have that. You know how many people that you will put out of work if you got rid of it completely? Right. You could say you're moving towards one thing without totally eliminating the other. So now she's come around to that because she sees how Joe Biden's been able to do it and still have fracking existing. And that's the stuff that I would focus on if I was that side. Why are you pivoting so much? Why don't you have a true stance? This is what you were talking about a couple years ago. Now you're saying this. And she should prepare herself in a way of answering that type of stuff directly. Am I not allowed to change my stance?
Check this out.
See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I apologize for all the YouTube viewers that my camera went out. I don't know what's going on here. But
get your shit together.
Hey, man,
we got you.
But I can hear everything. I just can't see. Or you guys can't see me.
Okay.
The fracking part. Every year they bring this shit up. I had to go look it up. I didn't know what the fuck fracking was. Like, I'm like, what is fracking? So I looked it up and then I apologize for all of the energy conservation and the people who want to save the planet. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn fracking. I don't. As of right now, I want to know why my mortgage, my mortgage rates are crazy through the roof. I want to know why my insurance is crazy. I want to know that. And this is how I know that this shit is, to Earl's point, they got to put an age on this. I feel like you got to have a prerequisite. Like, if you want to take Algebra 2, your ass need to take Algebra 1 or test out. Because
regular jobs are that way.
Look
There's
how bad
jobs that you can't even interview for unless you got so-and-so experience.
So, it's bad when you're watching a debate, a presidential debate, who's going to determine the leader of the free world, quote unquote. They have a goddamn QR code for you to scan to fact check. Are you fucking kidding me? You mean I can't watch this with any type of there's speculation that's listening to it, everything on it. And the one thing that I said, yes, Kamala Harris pushed all the right buttons to get him to go off the rail. But have we not watched how this guy operates? Two things. Lindsay Davis, one of the moderators. This may not mean anything, but it will mean everything to the Trump party. The fact that she's an AKA, she's a fellow soror, you don't think that's just going to come up? the fact that, hey, this whole debate thing was rigged because they've already said there won't be a third debate. He's already denied doing that. Well, he's declined doing that. So that's going to come up. 2, I know that the moderators were like, they were on his ass. But at the same time, if you're watching the debate, to take from Drake, it was like a 20v1 at a certain point. And again, we know what Donald Trump is. But if you're watching it, it was the moderators and Kamala Harris against him, which rightfully so, calling him on his bullshit. But you got to think about also the people that comes to his rallies. He's going to use that to be like, look at how the media is trying to steer your vote. She didn't even answer the questions about XYZ. Look at how the moderators was constantly, bashing me and questioning the things I'm saying, which rightfully so. But again, that's going to be used. So it's something we said, I think, a couple of weeks ago. In order for this to be a true success, she's going to have to win not only the popular vote, but she's going to have to win those electoral college votes by a substantial amount. Otherwise, if you think he was bad in the last election that he lost, talking about it was stolen, you imagine what's going to happen this time if it's a close race and the hell he gonna put us all through about look at this, look at that. It's going to be one of those things. So she has to pick up those battleground states in order for this to be, in my opinion, to be a true success across the board. Because otherwise, it's just gonna be more shit. It's gonna be more shit. And people gonna be, you got the people eating Tide Pods and shit, the cats and dogs thing. I don't know why everybody's in an uproar because I'm proud military. I'd have been overseas. Hey, there's been some long drunk nights. I'm pretty sure that somebody heat clip or something. I'm just saying.
I'm not. This part of the conversation, I'm done with.
Yeah, I'm done with this shit.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but on the real though, man, like I didn't think it was a good showing to expose him and his bullshit, but I didn't necessarily think it was a good showing for her. Me personally, I didn't think it was something. She didn't give us the same Barack Obama energy. I feel like a lot of her stuff she do is more scripted compared to it coming off genuine. And that's what I would like.
But I think we also gotta, not to cut you off, I think we also got to stop comparing. Because at the end of the day, Barack is an orator, if I said it correctly. Like that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? So it's like comparing Michael Jordan to like Sean Kemp. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's a good player, but she ain't that.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think at the end of the day, I can't sit up here and say I can speak to what her strengths were. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what her strengths are, honestly, because and this is no disrespect to her, I haven't seen her take the front, or I haven't really seen her in the last 3.5 years.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Doing Joe Biden's presidency. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say that she didn't do anything. I'm just saying I haven't seen her like I've seen the other.
They didn't put her on Front Street the way that
exactly. So hopefully if she gets in office, now she's top of, she's in front of everybody. Now it's her opportunity to shine. Do I think she'll be able to be okay? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Do I think she's a better option than Trump? Absolutely. But I do want to say this, and I mean this with all sincerity. There was a lot of jokes and a lot of laughs. The internet was interneting. I mean, they wasted no time.
Undefeated.
But as an American, I don't care what side of the fence that you're on. In no way, shape, or form can you walk away from this whole situation and say that you are actually proud right now. Because this shit made us look fucking crazy. Like we look like the laughing stock of the world, because it's like reality TV. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, even to the fact that somebody like him was able to even get to this point, like he's in contention of winning. He was already a sitting president. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. And you know what? These next 4 years, I pray that I get to 44, bro. Like these next 4 years is gonna be really big because I feel like if certain things don't happen, the world is gonna feel it. And I'll just keep it at that.
I'm with it, man. To your point, you were talking about these offices that people are holding for up to years. We were talking about just give you a quick to let you know how old some of these people are, and even though they just retired. So Supreme Court Justice, Associate Justice Anthony M. Kennedy, who just recently retired not so long ago, he was born in 1936. You know when they upheld the ruling that bus segregation was not right. 1956. He was born 20 years before they outlawed bus segregation, and he retired in 19 what he retired in 2018. Somebody who was born before World War II, before bus desegregation, held that office all the way up to 2018. And these are the people who are still running this country, and we wonder why a lot of shit ain't changing, because they still holding on to the things that, I mean, if you go back to the Declaration of Independence, was signed by a bunch of people who had us at the house, not on payroll. That's what I say. It's the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Sean's not on camera because my camera's not working. I appreciate you guys locking in with us though on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows, and of course subscribing to the YouTube channel. Let's pivot to another topic. We don't have to stay on it long because literally the video wasn't that long. Shannon Sharpe.
That's the way to go into it.
I was like cracking ass.
Man, listen, bro. Like, all I know is Twitter is a horrible place. I know that much. It is a horrible place, but sometimes you get your best news. Open up my Twitter feed, and I'm like, this can't be it. Is this real? No, this can't. No, this is real. So Unc, as he's been known to be called at this time, Shannon Sharpe, man, previously of ESPN on First Take, because they did fire his ass.
They didn't. They didn't.
I didn't see that.
They did not fire him.
There's multiple reports showing that he was fired.
They did not.
I saw it on sites that are not.
Maybe they trying to work it out. I don't know. So maybe
that was mad reason. That's why when you put it in, and I when I was coming home, they said he wasn't fired. They said he won't get any disciplinary action, but he'll be back on Monday.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'll take that back, gang. He's out there. So Shannon Sharpe accidentally, quote unquote, went live on IG Live while on Instagram while he was smashing. Smashing.
Yeah, Shannon, hold on. TMZ, Shannon Sharpe won't face discipline from ESPN over sex stream.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, because here's the thing, and before we, for you guys' reaction, I wonder if someone did an about face, because some of the reports I saw was from credible spots.
Like who? Call it out.
I saw one. It was, I want to say NBA Central. I don't know why.
Who?
That's not
NBA Central.
It was that. Let me go pull up on my screenshots.
Why would NBA?
No, I'm trying to let you know. I know what you're talking about. That's a fake site.
Maybe it is. You're right.
And why would NBA?
It's like Centel or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's why I read it wrong. Anyway, I'm wrong. Anyway, they ain't fire him. All right. And that's good on Disney. They did give us Deadpool. What was you guys take on this, man? Like, it's
I think the real hot take, more than even any type of disciplinary action or any type of firing, really the take is, did you really accidentally leave that on?
You can't do it.
Because I'm trying to tell you, it's very hard if you're purposely trying to turn on live.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you a couple times to try to
Right.
figure it out. Oh, am I recording? Am I on? Am I?
Right.
This ain't no butt dial. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't that easy to get on live. So let's go through the real story. Let's just put it out there. The real story has been to the fact of everybody calling him gay.
Yes.
Year after year after year after year after year.
Yes.
So that's been circling for a while.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the video comes out, catches audio wise of you smashing. And then your team automatically responds talking about that your IG has been hacked.
Right.
But then you follow up on your show with Ocho Cinco, Nightcap, I believe it's called.
Right.
And you follow up and let them know, no, that's not what happened. I don't know why that team member responded that way, which I actually respected because that's the real. Like some people do respond in your camp before they even speak to you. Like
they trying to
they're
protect
just controlling. Yeah, they're just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So he corrected it real quickly and things like that. But then he went on to, hey, but you see, you know, what I was doing, you know, for the people that call me. And I'm like, did you accidentally have that on? Or was that more of a, let me show them what Onk is doing?
Yeah.
Because there's just too many things falling in line.
Well, he also had a sponsorship from was it Rose? It was a particular pill that he actually had. I watched the thing with him and Ocho Cinco as well, but he had a sponsorship through not Blue Chew, but it was one of those type of companies doing this thing. Yeah, man. So it was like they knew, say, hey, look, man, hey, we're gonna do what we do. So I agree with you there because I think based off his response and everything else, I think the perception that he was gay for whatever reason, because you saw all the stuff that came out about him because he's sitting courtside with one of his boys, something like that, and all that shit came out. And that's a dirty place. I think that may have bothered him to a certain extent. And this happened. Because again, I just tried to go IG live right now, bro. Ain't no way in the hell you could accidentally do this. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You can't.
It's a very tough thing to do.
You can't.
I don't know how you accidentally go. Like it's
you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. Question is, how is this received around ESPN?
I mean, when I saw you put in the chat about the whole firing thing, I quickly in my mind, I was like, really? Because at the end of the day, yes, it was an audio that, you know, definitely a company like Disney don't want out there about one of their people that are headlining the show. But he didn't hit, well, I was about to say he didn't hit nobody, but let's change that up. He didn't, you know, like rape anybody or anything like that, or kidnap anybody or kill anybody. He didn't commit a crime. You know, so at the most I kind of saw coming down the pipeline was the fact of him being suspended for a week or something like that.
Gotcha.
That's the most I could see coming down because it's just the perception of it all. Yes, you're doing grown man things. Gotcha. But it's still out there, public opinion, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the firing, when I saw that from yours and I was like, oh, shoot, did that happen? I was about to say like, whoa, wait a minute. There's other people that they have kept that have done some much worse things than an audio being left open. So yeah, that was just my take on it.
What you got,
Earl? Oh, okay.
Okay. This is what I get from it. And now, you know, I apologize if I jumped the gun. You know, it was a lot of stuff happening one time.
No, I knew exactly what you were talking about, that NBA thing, because that was one of the things that came up on my. Yeah, and it's not NBA Central. If y'all ever see any type of information from, like, I believe it's NBA Central or something like
maybe
that.
I looked at it really quickly.
Yeah, that's a fake site. They always put out rumors.
This is one thing I can see why, you know, I guess ESPN is starting to shed that Disney is the house that Mickey built kind of moniker. Because you got to think about it. All right, yeah, you might have, okay, they may have, you know, this happened. But do they not discuss in great detail everything that has happened with Deshaun Watson, damn near, like all that shit. That shit is harder to listen to than what just happened with two consenting adults. When you're having to hear Molly and these and Mike Greenberg and these guys run down the list of details that are allegedly happened with Deshaun Watson, that shit makes you cringe. You're like, "Ey," but they talk about it. So something that is as natural as this, again, I grant it happened then, but again, it wasn't on a Disney site. It wasn't on the ESPN site. He didn't have on the ESPN Polo doing it.
You weren't able to see him.
You weren't able to see him at all. It happened. And then what he did wasn't anything compared to some of the shit that Stephen A. said. If you really, really, really look at it. So, and that may have been a conversation that was had as well. Because I'm pretty sure somebody in those offices was like, yeah, we gotta do something about this. But then Jesus, what's your okay, it came out. What happened? I mean, he didn't say anything crazy. It wasn't a white person calling a bunch of the black people N-words.
Some niggas.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they fired the
I'll tell you a funny part when when he was saying the person's name, Michelle was.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And immediately Michelle Beadle that used to be for
Yes.
ESPN tweeted out. She was like, "That's not me."
It's interesting, man. I don't think we got to go any further, man. Let's talk about some other stuff sports related, man. Asia Wilson. I'm sorry, that was a horrible transition, but it is what it is. Asia Wilson, man. And this respect
Motherfucking beast. Put some respect on that.
On this woman's. Now I guess everybody's young compared to me, my old ass. Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces, man. She has broken the single season scoring record in a mere 38 games, I believe, with almost 1,000 points, 900, and I can tell you in a minute, 970, 900 and damn, I'm lost my number. What's my number?
Take your time, bro.
I don't know. I had it up here. Dave, what's my number?
What? For the amount of points? Oh,
Yes, yeah. She surpassed that. So she surpassed what Jewel Lower did with 939. But I had my number over here. She had 27 and 12 in the game that she just recently played there, but she actually passed that record. 956 points. There we go.
Yeah.
956.
She's gonna get past 1,000.
Yeah. In a mere 38 games. 38 games. I know all the hoopla has been about Caitlin Clark this year. And there's some, legitimacy to that, but Asia Wilson has been balling all season. Question: have y'all played any of the WNBA aspects of NBA 2K yet? Because I want to know how they are represented. My bad.
You can't talk today.
Represented.
Representative.
But I haven't played it. I'll make sure I play it before our next podcast so I can report back on that.
Okay. What you guys take from this, man? Like, I know the Aces haven't been as good as they were previously, but
just to put this in context, what people are seeing right now.
I'm back.
Look at you.
Look at that. I've been working on it.
She's attacking that league like Michael Jordan did.
Absolutely.
She's unstoppable. And the most impressive thing to me is she's unstoppable on both sides of the court.
Right.
She's not just a scorer and then, sits back like, let's say, like a Harden. You know what I mean? It just scores, but doesn't really play defense so he can rest up and then, okay, kick it out to me. Let me score again. She's not that guy. Not the down Harden. He's a shooter. That's what he does.
Yeah.
She's all over the place. I believe she's the league leader also in I want to say blocks per game and rebounds per game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that. You go check it. I would have to look it all up. So just think about that. I know the blocks per game is right. I would have to check on the rebounds per game. That's crazy. So you're leading the league in scoring. You're leading in blocks, and I believe also in rebounds. I mean, what else can you do? Like, unstoppable, bro. Unstoppable. And I'm gonna take this page out of somebody's book, one of the analysts earlier that I saw talking about this. And I think also Stephen A has said it too. And I actually agree. The Liberty looked real good this year.
They did.
Sure
Really
did.
good.
Yeah.
Stewie.
I'm starting to treat the Aces like I said I'm going to treat the Chiefs. I'll believe it when I see it. As far as beating them, I believe it.
Beating the Liberty.
The Aces. No, I'm talking about the Aces. They have commanded so much control because they have the best player in the world. Shoot, forget that. I'm changing that. They have the best player that I've ever seen. Lace up shoes for women.
Whoa.
I'm just saying it. I haven't seen nothing like it, bro.
And
Cheryl Swoops and Maya Moore.
I haven't seen nothing like it. I hear you.
Because I know Gary
go back and forth on it.
Actually, the league leader, even though she's out with an injury, man, prayers up to is Angel Reese, 13.1 rebounds.
And what? Okay.
Yes.
What about the block?
Yeah.
Asia Wilson's right behind her with 11.9. Blocks on the season is Asia Wilson with 2.7. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but Asia's almost averaging 25 though.
But that's what I was about to say. Yeah. Let's think about that. So you're the league leader in scoring. You're the league leader in blocks per game, and you're second in rebounds per game. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we talking? So I'm about to be on that side of things. I think the Liberty have a killer team this year. But the Aces, because of Asia Wilson, there's other players on the team, don't get me wrong. They're starting to get into that realm of, look, bro, I don't care who's there, who's that, blah, blah, blah. Is Asia on the team? All right, bro. Well,
yep.
You got to show me. I
love it, man. I love it. You have her at that point, and not to take any shine off her. You have finally the numbers, because we love numbers. The numbers are starting to show themselves. You have Asia Wilson doing her thing, so she's going to end up being the league MVP. Caitlin Clark is going to end up being Rookie of the Year. She leads the league in assists, and I want to say she's like the 8th leading scorer in the league. Angel Reese, of course. I think she's so far ahead of rebounds. She still end up being a rebound leader this year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, man. This has been a hell of a year for the WNBA. And I hope that they take this energy, man, and this momentum and continue to press. It's dope, man. Everybody from LeBron James to Bam Adebayo, Tom Brady, they all was giving their reactions, man, to Asia Wilson breaking the record.
Which Bam was. My bad. Go ahead.
Who?
Solid Bam Adebayo. Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. It's been a good year, man. It's been a good year. Such a good year. As we move right on in the episode, man. Somebody else who's having a fantastic year. The one, the only, Kendrick Lamar. Hell of a year. As you haven't seen, if you haven't, heard, you should have by now. That he has been made the Super Bowl halftime host, or not host, but headliner. As well as dropping a new track the other day as well. And that shit came fresh with some worn down ass black Air Force Ones, which when I saw the picture, I knew. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a problem. If you know anything about Air Force Ones, black ones that is, go do a Google search. You know what time
ones.
You know what time it is. If you ever walk across a person, specifically a black person, in some black Air Force Ones, and them shit's been wore down,
bad intention, bro.
Don't ask them no questions. If you got a problem with your meal and they got on black Air Force Ones, eat that meal. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? If they cut you off in traffic and they get out with black Air Force Ones, just go ahead. Just let them take it. You know what I'm saying? If you see them put on a pair of black Air Force Ones, turn the other way because they mean business. If you from
unless you got some, black Air Force is a mentality. Yeah, it's a mentality. Just know that when motherfuckers put that shit on, like there's no questions being asked. So it's either you get approached by somebody with black Air Forces, either you're gonna put some black Air Forces, meaning you're gonna match that energy, or you just like Sean is saying, just respect the situation and bow out, son.
So to tie in our football talk show there, which is live Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on YouTube. Football Talk Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk Live. Last season, Mike Tomlin, hometown from the 7-5, he gave his entire defense black Air Force Ones prior to them playing the Cincinnati Bengals.
I respect
They beat the shit out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yo, I didn't know he did that last year.
Yes, he did that last season.
That is so much of a nigga move, which I respect. Like he needs to go down in Black history because I did not know that.
I'll put that in the chat. I think it's last season he gave them a pair. He gave them a pair of black Air Forces. I had to put it back, and then after that game, I have to pull up the stat on it. They gave them the blues, bro.
Yo, and respectfully, the white players understood what that meant.
Hey, look, Mike Tomlin is Mike Tomlin, bro. They know what time. TJ Watt, TJ Watt, all of them knew what time that shit was. They knew what time it was. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. Listen, what you got, bro?
Listen, we ain't gonna get away from the Kendrick part.
We back.
That's right, yeah.
Listen, Earl sent the quick take on that, like basically the song through the text.
Yeah.
And I saw the picture. And I said, oh shit. This motherfucker went around too. And speaking of Drake, and I said, this is before I listened to anything.
But he said no round two.
No, but this thing. I was like, oh, this is about to be bad. So let's just lay out this year real quick.
Yep.
They have the battle of the century.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that pretty much about 95%, and I might be maybe lowballing it, believes that Kendrick won. That other 5% are for people that sat back and was already in that OVO camp.
They light skin. I'm sorry.
But
I'm either.
I say that because you go through that, then he flips it into a video for Not Like Us. Not Like Us becomes the theme song of the nation. Just running with it, man. Then everybody's waiting. Hey, when you go and drop an album, I know this leading into an album. I know it is. It has a little snippet within the video of a song breaking down other songs that Drake has done, which was awesome.
Yep.
And then you hit a quiet state. And then all of a sudden he pops back on the scene with I'm now the headliner for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, within that quick video, he shot so many shots at him again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He shot just go back and listen to it. So many little innuendos in there. So, even if you're sitting at home, make sure you dress up, because you're sitting at home.
Yeah.
So I sit back and look at that. And then all of a sudden this last week, here comes the shit show that he already predicted. That is the engineering of what I think Kendrick, we said this before, sat back and knew how this was going to go for the year. This was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Man, I'm not just talking songs. I have this engineered for the year, period. Every movement that you're going to make. You think he didn't know that was going to pop off once he knew that he was going to be the headliner in New Orleans at the Super Bowl? Now you're over Lil Wayne, who was supposed to be the beat of the city. Oh, who's Lil Wayne's artist? Oh, it happens to be Drake. Now here come Nicki Minaj out the blue. Yakety yak, yak, yak. Let me go at everybody. And I'm going, oh, you just trying to ignite. And that song, and then I'll let y'all just go on this. That song wasn't just a Drake joint. There's some Drake things in there.
Oh, yeah.
That was I'm putting the industry on notice. Don't fuck with me. Yeah. That's exact. Go and listen to it. One of the biggest parts in there is him basically saying, you got to break down. You got to destroy in order to build. And that's what he's doing right now. He's in the process of destruction.
I'm going to go right behind Dave and I'm going to let you have it, Earl.
Whoa.
Shut up.
Damn, we just did the Shannon Sharpe thing.
Dog.
I like there's a lot of people who did not like the song. Even Charlemagne the God, they responded because I like what Kendrick is doing something that nobody else has been willing to do. And really just give 2 middle fingers and a fuck you to the industry, the media that supports the industry and everybody else. Charlemagne the God so much said, loosely quoting that, hey man, you're gonna drive yourself crazy trying to be the change. Okay, so this is the part where this is the lazy part of our culture. We are so willing to go, we do just enough to make ourselves seen, but we won't go to the end to fix the issue. What do I mean about that? When Freddie Gray, when damn who was that the Derek Chauvin case with the knee on the back of the neck. I forget his name. I do apologize. That we watched the video. George Floyd. All these things happen in the world. People will get together for a cause, protest, whatever. But we all have come to expect that's just going to be short-lived. They run out of energy. They do it for the moment, and then like whatever. I like the fact that like Kendrick's like, no, I'm gonna keep pressing this shit. I am going to keep pressing this and keep pressing this till I just completely tear this whole shit down. And he don't give a shit about it. And he has the support. While you won't see those people's names, he has the support of other people who are like, you know what? We'll do this. Because as great as Not Like Us was, as great as Euphoria was, there were still people and machines behind the scenes that was help push that out. They got tired of the bullshit with Drake being pushed along, all this other stuff that has really made hip hop just a complete farce. What I mean by that, go watch that breaking display by none other than Rachel Gunn in the Olympics. That lets you know how far we have fallen from the culture that is hip hop to us. They just use the shit for commercial reasons and don't care about it. That's what Drake has become. Those who are of the culture, they were born of the culture. Well, I believe I heard Lecrae say that.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick was born of the culture, whereas people like Drake and others, they're just fans of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing. And I like the fact that he's standing on and said, look, I will rip this whole shit down. It's just, he don't care about all the other accolades. We always wanted Jay to do it, but the way Jay-Z manipulated it was, I'm going to be one of those people that I can be behind the scenes and help push these buttons, which he definitely did, because everybody was thinking that Wayne, for whatever reason, should have been the headliner in New Orleans. Newsflash, when they had the Super Bowl in Minneapolis, Prince did not play that show. It just so happened in LA that SoFi was a new stadium. They got Dre and those guys like that. So understand that this is not something that is significant to Wayne himself. And two, there's a lot of stuff that come out about Wayne that he may not be the best option for this. Because remember, this at the same thing, the NFL wants this shit to be structured. They want people to show up. They not trying to have another Michael Jackson nipple slip, Janet Jackson nipple slip. They not trying to do that. And Kendrick, who was there last season, you know he's going to say what he's going to do. He's going to do what he's going to say on stage and do it in a way that's going to resonate. Wayne's not going to do that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Earl?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kendrick was a great choice. This was his year. You know, he was hot fire.
Hot fire.
I was kind of tight with all of the hate.
The hate, yes.
People that was giving him. I'm like, yo, son, like, let him live. Like, at the end of the day, if you didn't learn anything about Kendrick Lamar, you know that everything he do is strategic. This is not a dumb individual.
Right.
So if you think that in some capacity, and I don't even know, he hasn't talked about his show, he won't talk about his show. Right. If you think in some capacity that he won't pay homage to the city of New Orleans, to the real part of New Orleans, you are sadly mistaken. I will bet my paycheck that he would pay homage. And once once it's all said and done, people will be like, all right, that was dope. Like he caught that. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what all the inner workings were. We don't know the backstory. We don't know all of that. All y'all know and all y'all say is, oh man, it's in New Orleans. Man, they ain't getting no New Orleans artists. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Fine. Like, but you act like, why is it a travesty like when this shit happens, when it has to do with rap? But when Rock
Hating on
or
ourselves.
somebody else, it's like when Rock and somebody else do stuff, then nobody's Bon Jovi got he ain't from we like who performed that? Who performed at the coldest Super Bowl in New Jersey? Can
The
somebody look that
Meadowlands
up?
joint.
Yeah, who performed there? I guarantee it wasn't a Jersey artist. Guarantee it wasn't a Jersey artist. And I could be wrong because I don't know what it is. I have to look it up. But I say all this to say that that's not a thing where like, they be in, you got to get somebody of that city. Like, no, you want to make sure you get somebody that's hot. What was it? What was the Super Bowl at last year?
We were in that was SoFi last year. It was SoFi.
Okay, and who did it?
No, it was not. It was in Vegas because Usher was
in Vegas. Okay, and where's Usher from? Is Usher from Vegas?
No, he just happened to be doing
but Usher. Yeah, but Usher got picked because Usher was hot fire at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Dave, you was looking it up?
No. I was just going off of what you just said. Why don't we pay attention to the fact that since he staked his claim as far as Jay-Z, his position there, the amount of hip-hop artists that have been able to perform.
Right.
But that's that part.
Instead of finding ways to hate.
Like
you didn't hear about us being up on that joint.
That part.
So
because but prior to that, you had Coldplay, you had U2, you had what's these other old artists that you had on there. They don't resonate on both sides like a Rihanna does, like even like a Bruno Mars does, an Usher does, with Dre and Snoop and all those guys there. Now you got Kendrick Lamar. And two, there's some underlying shit with it. Like you could say one thing about Jay-Z, and he does things at a elevated level, and he does it from a position of power, which people listen to him in ways that they won't listen to somebody who don't have that power. And if you read between the lines instead of all of the shit that's on top, Jay-Z, for all intents and purposes, he does stand for something. He is of the culture. He is of that. If you notice, everybody who spoke out, and this is my gripe, and I apologize. Everybody who spoke out with some bullshit is some people who don't stand for shit. Yep. They don't. Look at everybody who had something to say. They don't stand for shit. They were once hot, and now they ain't got nothing. You had Juvenile, Nicki, Birdman, who the fuck you had? You had, I think Fabulous said some shit. You had Cam and Mace. All these people who be willing to take the check, but they don't stand for shit. Lil Wayne literally said in a goddamn interview when they were talking about Black Lives Matters, what the fuck is Black Lives Matter? Without the fuck. Mm-hmm. You got a brother who's literally standing for something, and two, he has a worldwide appeal. Because honestly, people tired of the fuck shit. Mm-hmm. The majority of the audience of the NFL is people in our age bracket. All these young people coming in who's complaining, they watch highlights and they do fantasy football. From 30 to 50 is us. We the ones who pay for these high price ass tickets. Mm-hmm. We going to the Giants Commanders game on Sunday. Both of our teams are 0-1 and we both rebuilding. I guarantee you these young motherfuckers had to get the money from us to do it. We're out there for them. So everybody's complaining. Fuck out of here.
It is not even everybody, it's us. It's like our people. Like that's just frustrating shit. It's like we know how to tear each other down, yo. And it's like instead of sitting up here like Dave was saying and celebrating hip hop, like celebrating hip hop, celebrating the fact that a black man is performing on the biggest stage doing Black history. Just be happy for that. But instead, you waste all of your energy and time on why they such and such and all these speculations because he had beef with. No, man. Like the fuck, yo. Be happy that Jay-Z was there, that he was even able to convince them to be like, could you imagine if somebody else was there? You think they would have picked Kendrick Lamar? What?
No.
Kendrick Lamar? Exactly. So it's like,
Not at all.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like, yo, congratulate this man, yo. God
Two,
damn.
you know how the NFL works. Do you think? Because
Sorry,
if it's Wayne there, you can almost kind of guarantee that he may have brought out Drake. Do you think, with all the shit that's surrounding Deshaun Watson, these other players, do they want any association potentially with the alleged shit that Drake may or may not be involved with? You know what those headlines would be like? Whether it's proven or not, that shit goes. You think somebody will come up here like, Drake was seen on stage with underage children? You know, does the NFL support this? Apparently they do, because Deshaun Watson is. You think the NFL was like, nah, we are not. You don't, nah, bro. Especially what just came out just now recently. They don't want that shit. Nah, bring in the young Malcolm X. We'll deal with that shit.
Right.
You know, but we not taking the other shit. Yeah.
It's frustrating, dog. We are our own worst enemies, bro. And I just, for the life of me, I'm just like, I wish we could stop doing that to one another. Like we're better than that. At least I would like to think.
Drop the album.
Yeah.
Please. Steve Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave, episode 155. Let's go into some. It's been a rough week, man. There's this old adage, and now it's beyond 3 at this point. But my grandma told me it's like when death comes, it comes in 3s. And in a matter of about a week, 10 days, and some others. So I do apologize. I didn't include anybody, but everybody. But in the last 10 days or so, we've had the deaths of 3 prominent figures in their own rights. From James Earl Jones, Frankie Beverly, and Rich Homie Quan. The most recent of them being Frankie Beverly and Maze. And it's been, man, their individual impacts and what they did is astounding, to say the least. We can just jump around, man, wherever we want to go. I know James Earl Jones, you guys know him from Coming to America, to Star Wars, to Field of Dreams, to Lion King, to what other movies you got? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Listen, I'll take the James Earl Jones part of things.
Yeah.
As far as with James Earl Jones, it's a personal thing for me because my pops and I used to joke when he was living that was his long lost brother. They got similar features as far as looks.
Yeah, man.
And you know, so I'll be like, man, if you think you killing him now, pops, if you had that James Earl Jones voice, he'd be like, my voice just fine. But on a serious note, you know, to command an area just by voice, think about how much power you have to have in that sense.
Yeah.
There's not too many people that I know that I've ever experienced in life where you just hear their voice and you shut up, other than your own like pops walking in a room type joint. And that's how James Earl Jones was. You knew you couldn't get no other voice for Mufasa. You knew his voice in Darth Vader when he came in.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Even on stage, you know, this is a person that one of the few people that have EGOTs. You know what I mean? You know, so we're talking about a Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Yeah.
You know, I would have to look it up, but I dare to say that he's maybe the only person that ever spoke the national anthem. You know, what you saying, Earl?
Yep.
What you saying, Earl?
My bad. I just saw that today, and it was kind of dope.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's him. You know, and every scene I've ever seen him in, it was just like a moving scene. That's the command that he always had. And there's certain people that you don't have to know them, but when they're around, you just have, they already gain that respect. They demand that respect.
Yeah.
And that's like the similarities between him and my pops. People didn't even have to know him, but when he entered the room, it was like something's different going on, you know. And you know, he lived a full life. I believe he was 93 when he passed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But think about all those iconic roles that we're rolling out, that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, just for Darth Vader alone, the fact that you had somebody different that was playing the actual being as far as the figure within it, but then they're like, nah, you can't do the voice.
Nah,
I need a different voice. And they go and get him for the voice. And then it's a totally other different actor for the actual face when the mask came off.
Yep.
So 3 people played Darth Vader. Now, sadly, all 3 of them, I believe, are gone now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that type of figure that can command a stage, command a scene, command a theater, whatever it is, command a stadium just from talking. On that talking side of things, you know, those voices like a Maya Angelou type thing. Like you didn't have to see them, but you like, oh, okay.
They'd have been
There's
through
history here.
Yeah.
There's some history here. So I'll cover that part of James Earl Jones.
What you got? What you got for Frankie Beverly, Earl?
I mean, we are one.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, Frankie Beverly, I think he was 77 when he passed. He's one of the greats. He is a pillar in our community, with our people, within our culture. He is from the era where music had a color. So when you could play his song right now, don't know who he is, but you're going to get up.
Absolutely.
You could be a little kid, you play that music right now, you're gonna get up because it was a feel good music. Like he just spoke to you. I mean, when you hear "We Are One" and they hit the dun dun dun, boom, but I mean, it just puts you in the moment. Like, so, you know, we're the part of growing up and to get older. To get older is a blessing, you know. And you know, the older you get, the more you appreciate life. And then also you appreciate the older folks and what legacy they left. Like, because you realize that in some ways we were spoiled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get another Frankie Beverly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get another carbon copy. And even though the thing I do agree with what Tyrese was saying is like, yo, I'm carving my own lane, whether y'all agree with it or not. And that's what I respect about a James Earl Jones. That's what I respect about a Frankie Beverly. That's what I respect about a Stevie. Like, these guys were one of a kind. Everybody else is the carbon copy of them, or they try to be the carbon copy of them. So yeah, man, it's a sad loss, but you know, he lives on because his music is gonna live on. James Earl Jones is gonna live on because his movies and his impact, his voice is gonna live on. He had a voice unlike no other. Frankie Beverly had a voice unlike no other. You know, even, you know, going to Rich Homie Quan, you know, I switch over to him. You know, unfortunately, he met his demise at an early age. I just hope that young folks are seeing all of these, you know, young guys that they look up to, you know, music that they listen to, and understand, like, yo, in some kind of weird way, their choices should help guide yours. Meaning, in the sense to don't follow that same trajectory. You know what I'm saying? Because you're seeing your people that you love and that you look up to, and you're seeing what is the end all demise. And I mean no disrespect to him or his family, you know, but I hope that his death, and even some others that fell into that same realm, people use that as a learning lesson. Like, yo, drugs, y'all got get off of it. It's not a cool thing. I remember I seen an interview, and this was so sad. He was like, in the beginning of his career, he wasn't even doing drugs. Like he was performing, he wasn't doing nothing to the point where I think at some point he got to the point where he needed something to like get on stage to kind of mellow him out.
So I'm in at a higher note because I ain't gonna do that to the brother. So before he even got into rap, he actually used to play baseball. He actually ended up going to I think it was Fort Valley State. He was a center fielder out there on a scholarship. Yeah, and he went out there and just the cost of tuition, he ended up quitting for whatever reason. So I'm assuming it was a partial scholarship or something like that. Got a regular job.
Excuse me.
Got fired from that, and then
I'm sorry.
about a year, some change, man. And then like music was just like more of a hobby type thing. And then he came out, like most of these guys, him blowing up with Type of Way, which is still one of my favorite songs of his. So he came along at the time when you had Future, Young Thug, those guys. That was like that new generation of Atlanta rappers coming up. The thing that how this ties into want to tie this into the Kendrick thing. While everybody will listen to this newest track from Kendrick and think it's just a Drake diss, he's also again he's talking about the industry and the bullshits with the industry. If you saw the most recent things or some of the videos with Quan, he was talking about the fact, man, that his labels, man, was stealing from him. He actually took them to court. He sued them, and they end up filing like a countersuit with him breaching contract. So this thing, this shift that's happening in music, the drug part, unfortunately, happens to a lot of these guys and to a lot of artists, Black artists in general. You go back to the days of the Temptations and going back to those guys, what's the artist that Lorenz Tate played? I cannot remember his name. He played in that when it Fools Fall.
Frankie Lamar.
Yeah, they stole a lot of money from these artists, and in return, what they got was a lifetime of drug use, and a lot of that shit happened, partying and stuff like that. And then some of these artists come back on the back end and say, "Hey, these parties are great. The drugs are fantastic, but I'm realizing that y'all motherfuckers keeping me high and zooted. Where's my bread?" And this is unfortunately the story of a lot of these artists now, like a Rich Homie Quan, man. Once they hooked, they hooked. Now, what's come out after that is something I don't really want to discuss because that whole thing just seems like negligence and stuff like that. There's clearly an issue. But for his short time here, he was only 34 years old. 34 years old and made waves in Atlanta. And he's just another, artist from our eyes is gone too soon, man. Another young brother who's gone too soon. In the meantime, there's somebody who owns the rights to his music who's going to continue to get paid off that. Which again, to echo a lot of shit that Kendrick said, fuck the industry. Put it that way. Of course, this podcast won't be what it is, man, if we hadn't taken our conversations from Xbox Live over to their podcast space. But we got a video game corner, which you guys, I'm pretty sure, are going to enjoy. So let's get to that. So you guys, I know you guys are the big Call of Duty guys. I know what Call of Duty 6 is dropping, or the beta version is out right now.
Yeah, the beta version. Yeah.
So I know, but with that being said, Modern Warfare 3 is continually doing this thing, so much so they're actually launching the season 6 version of it with the haunting. If you haven't seen it already, we're going to for all our YouTube folks, we're going to let you guys in to a little bit of what's going on with Call of Duty.
Is he froze? Dave, you can hear me?
Nope, he moving there.
Oh, okay.
Sean, you good?
Take your time, young man. Mama used
Hold
to
on, hold on. I
sing.
don't know if it's playing though. Earl. On his side.
Yep, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Season 6, the Haunting trailer, is out now with new skins from the Terrifier. Of course, Michael Myers. Did you all see it? Did it share?
No.
The
I don't
whole
think
time?
none of that's what we were trying to say to you the whole time. We're like,
That is horrible. Are you
we
serious?
sat back and watched you go back and forth, but that was about it.
Really? That is horrible. That is
Why do you
that
think we were
cannot,
still talking?
that is horrible. Like that's oh my god. I completely messed up that whole thing then. That is not what
I hope you enjoyed this, Sean.
I had already had seen it. I had already had seen the oh man, I feel some type of way now. I don't even know how to feel about that now. Oh my god.
Earl and I just looking at it like, okay, well, yeah, all right.
Oh my
Thought we
god. So
kept talking.
oh my that is horrible. That's not how that goes. That is
Hope you got your roster in, Earl.
I don't
You're
know
on mute.
why that didn't go. Let's do it now.
Let's move.
Come camera up. Frost here. Movement. Rocket, come in.
Enemy movement. Also spotted.
Does anyone have eyes on it? Report.
Killers and the $100 billers.
Everyone fall back. Repeat, fall back.
Every man for himself in this land, we be gunning. So some get shot, locked down, and turn guns. Cowboys all said straight up shoot.
Does anyone read me?
You're on mute.
I should be back now. So of course the worst producer of the year award will go to me. I do apologize. Oh man! So the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Warzone, the haunting skin stuff will be adding soon around the Halloween time. And if you guys haven't seen Art the Clown from the Terrifier, new film coming out. I can't wait to see that actually in theaters. And of course, they have all the zombies and everything else in there. You guys excited at all? I didn't know if you guys have seen it or anything. You know how that.
I hadn't seen it, but that definitely will be something that can hold me over until the other Call of Duty drops. So
Got you.
yeah.
What you think? What you think, Earl? What you got? What you got?
No, it's pretty dope, man. It's pretty dope.
Okay. I
Pretty
apologize again, guys, for all those listening and watching, but you got to see it anyway. Some more video game news, man. Something that's even more interesting. So this is according to NBC News. So a video game performers announced strike, citing artificial intelligence concerns. The strike is set to begin at 12:01 a.m. Friday for timestamp, guys. Thursday at 8:15 p.m. For us. So Hollywood video game performers have voted to go on strike beginning Friday, citing concerns over artificial intelligence projections in a proposed new contract. The future of generative AI and how it can be used to replace labor was a critical sticking point for actors and writers during last year's Hollywood strikes. While the actors and writers unions came to deals with the studios in the fall, negotiations between video game actors and major game developers have gone on more than a year and a half, according to their union, the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, or SAG-AFTRA. So it's still going on, man. And as you've seen, like they're injecting AI into some of everything. So even to the podcast space, which I think we both used it, and it's been kind of hit or miss. Sometimes, it creates a nice little outline for a script, and sometimes it's like, I don't know what this thing is trying to create. So what you guys take, man, on not this strike aspect, but the amount of AI just being, which looks like it's inevitable, is being injected.
I'm about to say that's going to be jobs in general. Forget just them.
If you guys watch Terminator, I'm just saying for all about to watch it.
Yeah, that iRobot, all them joints.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it is in general. I think we had this discussion a while ago about just the fact of just jobs that are out there. And if you know anything about like Chat GPT and stuff like that, and you major into some of this AI work, you'll come out and instantly get hired. And it's something that's going to be around, period. Yeah. Like it's not just no quick thing that's coming through. No, this is the new wave. This is what it is. Right. This is how companies are working. This is how they're operating. Your phone operates that way right now. Yeah. Different things that you say to it are all going through that AI system. Hell, for you to get that job that may not even be an AI job is being operated through an AI platform to even get to the person to see it. Right. So I remember a job that was going through the system and never even got to the people to review it because the AI platform and even nowadays, let's deal with my market like real estate, some of these things for like rentals, and you're going and you're thinking you're sending in your application to the landlord. It has to get through that AI platform to even get to the landlord. So you can speak to the landlord like, hey, watch out for this coming through, blah, blah. This is a real good client and everything. They never saw it because it never even got through the AI checkpoint.
Exactly.
Never even got through it. So this is the main time that instead of sitting back and figuring out how to knock down AI and trying to figure out how to battle it, try to figure out how to actually champion it. Yeah. This is one of the biggest times, especially if you're looking for jobs and looking to upgrade and things like that, that you really have to pay attention to keywords. I just had this conversation, didn't I? Javen, shout out to Javen. Yep. But we were having a conversation about resume and resume building. And this is a time where, you can't just put simple things on resumes, throw it in there and just think you're qualified and you're going to get picked up. It's not happening. Exactly. If you don't have certain keywords, they don't even see it. And if you don't know what to look out for, you need to pay somebody that really knows what they're doing. And they have these things set up on Indeed and Career Builders and all that type of stuff. LinkedIn, where they go in and they'll have a professional look at it. Maybe it's like $30-something. Would that be worth it for you to get a job? I think so. Yeah. So that AI work is out there. It's going to be here. You just got to realize how to navigate it, like you said.
All I know is, man, if these strike folks are trying to get through it, they might want to call Arnold Schwarzenegger because I'm just saying. That's with your boy Sean Earl Day. Before we get out here, man, of course, this podcast won't be what it is again if we hadn't taken our Xbox Live chat over from that space and bring it over to the podcast space. So, of course, make sure you follow us on our respective Xbox gamer tags. You can find me at Sinai2X on Xbox Live, or you can actually follow me on IG as well as Sean Xavier. We don't shout that out enough on there, so you could Sinai2X or follow me on IG. I'm not doing live, so don't worry about that. At Sean Xavier. You can follow the Hot Seat Podcast on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast. Gaming, that's what we're doing. The countdown has begun on some of our fall games. Again, I'm waiting on my City Skylines. Absolutely. I'm in year 6 of my contract in MLB The Show, which means there more arbitration for me, which means I can go in and negotiate the biggest contract ever, I hope, after the season is over. We'll see if the Nationals want to really keep me. Stuff like that. What you got, man? What you got?
It's the storyteller. We didn't get around to this today, but I'd rather do it as a poll now, and then we'll talk about it on our next podcast. So look out for a poll that'll say something in the sense of your favorite video game movie and your favorite video game show, either or. Okay. And then we'll talk about it because there's a lot that's out there, but there's been a lot that has flopped. And then there's more to come that some of them I'm amped up for, and some of them I'm like, did we really have to do this? So should just kept this in the gaming space. So we'll get that poll up out to you guys. Something that you could just fill in for your favorite video game movie or video game show.
I'm with it. Earl was somewhere. He stepped away from
Earl is probably watching football because it has started. And if you saw me looking down for about 10 minutes, that's because I had to get my tickets in real quick.
Hey, we know there won't be a football talk this week officially per se. Dave and I will be attending, and my son, we will be attending the Commanders Giants game this Sunday. But we actually may still go live though. We will go live. I ain't gonna lie. We'll be out while we out there. There you go, Earl. I know you're watching football.
That money on the line now.
Nah, I had that because I forgot the food, and then he got to go to bed. So
fair enough. Yeah, it's
man. I don't know where y'all was at, but
Gamertag.
NJ Fatboy 973. Shout out to my son. His birthday is tomorrow. Turning 6. Shout out to the missus. Her birthday is on Saturday.
That man is broke.
Bro.
Bro.
I ain't got it. That's why I need these bets to hit. Please and thank you.
Man. How'd you make out last week, though? How'd you make out last week before we get out of here?
I ain't really. I mean, I won second place in our DraftKings.
Oh man, I'll say before we get, man, look, I was feeling good because Dave was in first, I was in second, and all of a sudden I look, I blink, I'm like, these motherfuckers just started just.
Yeah, they still have players left because you only had a defense.
Yes, I only had a defense. Next thing I know, I went from being up. Now, mind you, I was up by 50-something plus points. Nah, it ain't matter because Cooper, well, it was not Cooper Cup, but who was that playing?
Cooper Cup.
Yeah. Crazy numbers, everybody else. And shout out to everybody who had the kicker for Tampa Bay. That's Tampa Bay for San Francisco last week. But shout out to the people who won, and shout out to the people who might have lost their week because they lost against somebody who had the actual kicker for San Francisco when they played the Jets because he put up 26 points, and that was like his average over leagues, which you're not expecting that from a kicker, bro. That's, again, shout out to DraftKings for allowing me to come back. I've wanted some money in my first week. See if we can double it up again the second week because I'm gonna need that. The tickets ain't as expensive parking for the Command. Hey, I got to recoup something, man. But that being the case, man, it's the Hot Seat, man. We'll catch you guys next week. Make sure you listen, like, subscribe, and all that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows. We'll be out of here, bro.
seed.